Hello and welcome to another episode of Utopia Restorations. You join me in the sunshine at the workshop because I just bought a mini Clubman John Cooper Works. So what I'm going So here it is, my 2008 mini Clubman John Cooper Works. Been looking for one for a while, but there was a lot of issues and a lot of problems that some of you may know are common with these. And if you don't, I'll explain some of them. And we were searching for ages and just could not find anything we liked. But eventually came around to this one. It was on the border of Wales, so it was a bit of a trek to go get it. But it's absolutely perfect for what we want it for. I'll take you through it and some of the things that I may be doing to it in the future. So it's lovely, 2008. John Cooper Works kit on it. It's got all the certificate, so it was done later, so it's 2008 car and it had the kit and everything done in 2010, full certification to prove that. I do like the John Cooper Works front. I think they just make it look a bit more aggressive and slightly better compared to a standard one. I was looking at standard ones, but put me off a little bit. John Cooper Works is just slightly, you know, a bit more heritage to it. Not really much to go around it. I mean, it's got silver wheels, again, possibly going to put new ones of those on. Silver and blue is quite good. It's got the blue roof as well, sometimes they got contrast, and John Cooper Works exhaust. It does have a bit of a burble, which will start up in a bit and you can hear what it sounds like, so very nice. But yeah, it's just sort of is what it is. Now there are some parts that we will improve and we will change. It's a 2008 car, so my maths isn't going to do it with me today, but it's about 15, sort of 16 years old car. It's going to have some things. So we've got over here, we've got a slight crack on the reflector, get a new one of those and get a new rear arch on that just so it fits a bit better. It hasn't been crashed, it's probably just been knocked at some point. There's some blemishes on the paintwork. Again, I want to give it a proper detail and proper clean, polish it all over to get it look nice and sparkling. Next weekend we will be at Players down in Goodwood and we'll be taking this. So yeah, hopefully try to get it looking a bit nicer for then. There is a slight dent and a ding on the front, which again, I think I can get that sorted. I've got chaps that can sort it and sort out the paint and get it blended. So I'm not overly worried about that. Admittedly, yes, sometimes when people are looking at cars, they go, oh, you know, it's got a bit of a ding. I wouldn't buy that one. So why did you? It's price point on these, and sort of minis are the same as Land Rovers, I view. Sort of all cars that are getting older and a bit more desirable and a bit different. So why did we get one with a few more dings than, say, usual, or not usual? It's because on these, if you've ever looked at one of them, prices them massively fluctuate. So we've seen them from £1,000 of people trying to get rid to John Cooper Works ones with low mileage, people wanting £15,000 to £16,000, which admittedly is a very cool car. Would I pay £16,000 for one? Absolutely not. We paid nowhere near that for this one. Yes, it does have some blemishes on the outside, but I will explain why I'd rather get one with blemishes and it mechanically. So R1 has just had a bill that was done in February for £4,000 was spent on it, and that is more than we paid for the car. And all that happened was it had an oil leak. I have actually been to go see cars and almost brought one just before this that had an oil leak. Sort of went in with the, it will be fine, it's just an oil feeder pipe for the turbo. If these have oil leaks, it's not just that, it's significant. So this has had pretty much full engine stripped down and rebuild. Yeah, so it's got a huge amount of receipts with it, timing chains, rocker covers, all sorts have been changed on it, just to stop it leaking oil. So if you do see one that's got a bit of an oil, a bit of a smoke coming from where the turbo is, yeah, I would avoid that because it can be costly. So yeah, I'll take a few dings over having it a bit more mechanically sound. I'll show you inside. Again, it's not really too much to show. It's got a leather interior. Don't like the floor mat, sorry to say. Fairly standard one with John Cooper Works. We've got all the dials and we've got this thing here. So as you do when you get a new car, driving at home, you're loving it. I of course know on these you can change it, so I've got the speedo up there. I've had a Mini before that I did crash, so hopefully I won't be doing that with this one. But there's some of the things that it had. So it did have, it's got the dial and the fuel gauge here, but it did have temperatures. Annoyingly, these R55s don't have any temperatures. And when I was driving home, this was really annoying me as to what it is and what it does, because look, it moves around. It's quite a hard thing to Google. So I eventually found out what it was. It actually comes apart. It's got a little like ball bearing sort of joint thing on it. It's actually for a sat nav, so you can mount your sat nav there and you can see what your sat nav's doing, hence why you can move it around. But you can get OBD gauges for these. They're about £150. Not gonna lie, I think that's a bit excessive. I've managed to get one that's not. I managed to get a used one which will match the colours of this, because it was already for a Mini, and they've got it on the orange sort of colours that the dash is when it's on. So, and it can mount to a ball joint. So I'm going to mount it here, have an OBD reader there, giving some numbers and figures, which I think will be quite cool. Yeah, interior wise, not really much else to show you. It does all need a clean. Like I say, really haven't had it long, about a day. Car mat's not overly my favourite. Headlining's all black. It's got a sunroof, which is absolutely fantastic. Back seats are down currently because I like a van. Yeah, interior wise, not a great deal really to mention about it. It's just all good. Things I will say is it's had the cable redone in the door, and I'll show you. Can't get it open, but it may be hard to do this one-handed. We found the trick. If you put a bit of pressure here, it will release the top catch as you do it. So I'll try it. And then just like that, it will pop open. So that is a common problem with them. We've tried greasing it up, and that's going to be a future thing that we're going to have a fiddle with and sort out. I always have to say, I think the third door, it's just quite funny. I think it's quite cool. It's a very different quirk to the car. Adds a bit of a different dimension. No spoiler, which is all right. And boot is the boot, really. It's got all the things with it. We can maybe do some new gas struts at some point. But yeah, she's all right. I have to say, this always looks good. Just the rear boot open like this. I don't know why. Just looks rather cool. And of course, one of the very cool things, the headlights left behind when you open the bonnet. So, engine, John Cooper Works. You can see the tuning kit number there, so it's all official. So yeah, rather cool. Not really much to show you in here. But what I will do is I'll tell you maybe some plans and some of the things we want to do with it. So styling wise, I'm actually pretty happy. The main thing that I do want to do is get it cleaned, give it a detail. We're going to get this bit sorted because there's a bit of dent there which will straighten everything out, and give it a polish really. Exterior wise, possibly, well, it needs some new wheels. I really like 1552s, so we're possibly going to look at a set of those in the future. I do want to change the suspension a bit, so we're looking at some coilovers and some options for that, change in the future. Upgrading brakes, EBC are my personal go-to, so we're going to be doing that. In terms of engine, I want to just give it a service, some upgraded spark plugs. Lohan are fantastic, and I used them for my previous Mini, or wanted to. But yeah, so getting some parts from them. K&N air filter, which I'll do a video on, show you is there any difference with that. I'm a big fan of K&N and the work that they do, and do think they make a massive difference. So we're getting K&N, new spark plugs, and also you're going to drain all the fluids, do an oil change all the filters. Yes, they've been done recently. I would just rather do them myself, so I know they're done. And once all the oils are out, we're then going to be doing coolant. I'm thinking, Lohan also talk about it, we're talking about it for Land Rovers, using waterless coolant from Evans and giving a full system flush and putting that in. If Lohan recommend it, they know exactly what they're doing, so I'm going to be doing that to it. Interior wise, it just needs some mats really. So getting mats, like I said, we're getting an OBD gauge through there. Other than that, nothing else really is required. Maybe in the future, may get some John Cooper Works bits for it. But yeah, nothing else really. Potentially another bit is roof bars. I think they look quite cool with them. Bit of a speed wagon with bars on always look good. Yeah, maybe some gas struts on the rear, but that's sort of a bit of cosmetic stuff. That's nothing that's desired. Potentially, we've got Mini specialists near us. We may get booked in with them just to give it a full check over. I'm a great believer of specialists. If you know what you're on about, you may as well take it to them. So I'm going to get all the servicing done, and then we may pop it into them and just see what do they reckon, what else needs doing, and what can we get sorted. So that's about it really. Here is John Cooper Works. I think the only other thing really is to start it up and let you listen to the burble. So yeah, I think that was a bit louder in the video than it actually is in real life, but it's got quite a good burble on it and a pop. Not a huge fan of pops and bangs, but seemingly on the map that it's got, that's only when it's in neutral. When you're in gear and you're actually driving, it doesn't burble quite as much or make pops like that. So that may be something that we'll be getting changed in the future. The map on it, bringing it down a little bit so it doesn't pop and bang. But there it is. This is the new R55 Mini that we've got. Should be here for a little while as we're doing a few bits to it, but as always, maybe for sale later on. So I hope you enjoyed this one, and as always, make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.